I'm going to share with you a practice where the emphasis is going to be upon recognising, releasing and letting go. Not only do we hold on to drama, tension within our minds, so we also hold on to it within our bodies. We embody that tension, that emotion. So I'm going to use some fairly simple twists combined with your breath to, first of all, to recognise how you feel, to realise how you're feeling in the here and now, and through some gentle embodied movement, it's the process of recognising, acknowledging, and then letting go. Now, if you like the video, please like it. It helps with the algorithm. Share if you want to share this, and subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. If you want to contribute, click on the link below, buy me a coffee. So we're going to begin the practice, as I always begin a practice, just with a few moments, a few breaths to arrive. So find your comfortable seated position. Doesn't need to be anything complicated or fancy. You're sitting as comfortably, as effortlessly as you can, and with the palms of your hands facing uppermost, curling the tips of your index fingers to touch the tips of your thumbs. Feel, and I really mean feel, the weight of your hands as they rest onto your legs. Always that subtle distinction between feeling and thinking for our practice, dropping from the mind down into your body, down into your heart. So just feeling the movement, feeling the flow of your breath, and maybe you can even hear the soft sighing sound of your own breath. And then, if your eyes are closed, open your eyes, releasing your hands, and if you're sitting cross-legged, just uncross and release your legs. Give them a little stretch out. And then what we're going to do is, from a seated position, is to bend your knees. So you bring the soles of your feet to the mat, and then position your feet to about mat width apart. So the outer edges of your feet then align with the outer edges of the mat. You can set your hands a little behind. If your wrists allow, fingers pointing forwards, and already begin to explore that gentle lift around your breastbone. It's not just physically lifting your breastbone, already exploring the sensations you feel within your heart space. And with that lift to your breastbone, and we'll do this together, taking a breath in, and then it's your knees to the right, and as your knees move to the right, on the breath out, you turn to look over your left shoulder. With your breastbone still lifting, your knees, your head to the centre. To inhale, then knees to the left, turning to look over your right shoulder. On the breath out, your knees, your head to this upright position. Inhale, knees to the right, look to the left. On the exhalation, so as much as you can, now moving with your breath, in your own time. It's your body, your time. It's your practice. This is time that you've gifted to yourselves to simply be with all of the different aspects of yourself. And then to hold the twist, the next time you take your knees to the right, with your knees moving to the right, you feel that lift to your breastbone, maybe turning to look over towards your left shoulder. Breathe. Breathing as normally, as naturally as you can, but always open to all that arises, physically, mentally, and emotionally. To return your knees, your head back to this upright position. Inhale, your knees to the left, turn now to look over your right shoulder. So it doesn't matter if the right sitting bones lift. In fact, it helps to encourage, to deepen that twist, turning, looking to the right, and again, stay open, stay present without overly thinking your practice. And then we're returning our knees, so you bring your knees, your head back to this upright position, simply sliding your legs away And as you slide your legs away, it's always nice to have a little shake out. It takes the formality, it takes the rigidity from the practice. The tendency is we take our practice and ourselves far too seriously. So sitting with your legs together, your feet flexed, might help if you sit up onto a cushion or a block, if you find it uncomfortable to sit in this way. So with your legs together, your feet flexed, I'm going to take a twist from this position, settling through your sitting bones, and at the same time there's a feeling of being drawn up through the crown of your head. And then after this next breath in, a simple turn, a simple twist to the right as you begin to breathe out, taking your left hand across your right leg, position your right hand behind and to the mat, and maybe a sprung hand, so you can use your right hand, your right arm, to help support your spine, softening your shoulders back and down, with your chin parallel to the floor, so you take your gaze towards or even over your right shoulder. I don't really like to say holding the twist, because there's subtle movements all the time. You feel that subtle lengthening through your spine each time you breathe in, keeping that length, maybe to feel yourself releasing a little deeper into your twist each time you breathe out, making sure your shoulders are settled, your shoulders relaxed. And then we're going to return back to this forwards position. So as you move to the forwards, take a breath in, breathe through your nostrils, turning, twisting now to the left. So still your legs together, still your feet flexed. Your right hand across your left leg, your left hand behind, and again maybe a sprung hand, settling through your sitting bones, lengthening through your spine as you turn. Now and twist to the left. So where you take your gaze, so the vertebrae of your neck, the vertebrae of your spine follows. It's the same principle if anybody horse rides out there, where you take your gaze so that movement translates through your body and then into the horse, so the horse instinctively knows which direction that you want to go. From the twist, we're moving back to the centre, and again, just have a little shake out, taking the structure from your practice to move now down into a semi-supine position. That means with your knees bent, feet to the floor, and with your thighs, ankles, knees together. Your arms can be a little out to the sides, don't need to be too far. As you move your arms out to the side, keeping your shoulders relaxed, backing down away from your neck, and to feel the contact between your thighs, your ankles, your knees. Again, we take a breath in, always twisting on the breath out, so there's that release. Knees to the right, and again, if you can, you turn to look to the left. With the inhalation, to return your knees, your head back to the upright, and with the exhalation, so your knees to the left as you turn to look to the right. Your knees, your head to the upright, breathing in, knees to the right as you look to the left on the breath out, and again to the upright position. Inhale, enjoy that feeling of release as you twist, as you turn. On the exhalation, now the next time you bring your knees, your head back to the centre, and if there are no concerns with your abdomen or your lower back, for a stronger variation, you can always lift your feet. You can always create a 90-degree angle behind your knees. Thighs, ankles, knees squeezing together. Your knees to the right as you turn and look to the left. Returning your knees, your head, first to the upright, to inhale, knees left, look right, exhale, and again. So if your feet are lifted, don't compromise the movement, making sure your shoulders and your shoulder blades stay settled. And the next time you bring your knees, your head back to this upright position, releasing your arms so you hold around your knees or behind your knees, and now simply circle your knees. So you give your lumbar, your lower back a gentle massage. Circle your knees into the opposite direction. but not just going through the motions. Can you feel that contact between your lower back and your mat? Are you aware of how you feel as you move? Returning your knees back to this central position, and you can gently roll back into a seated position, giving your legs that little stretch out and extending through your legs. Give your arms, legs that little bit of a shake. A moment or two of stillness. There can be a tendency to rush through your practice. There can be a tendency to rush through your life. An eye for the detail without overthinking. So legs together, feet flexed, hands to rest by your hips. And then from staff posture, which is this position, I invite you to bend your left knee. You bring the sole of your left foot to the mat, and then either to keep your left foot there, or you step your left foot across your right leg. Now for some people this is as far as you'll go, or I'm going to give you the option, and it's perfectly fine for you to keep your right leg straight, or I give you the option of bending your right knee. So if you can see, I'm not sitting onto the right heel. Right heel sits just outside of the left hip. Now if that doesn't feel right, as I say, perfectly fine to keep your right leg extending. Some people find it useful again to maybe sit up onto a cushion or onto a block. And I'm going to move a little deeper now into this twist. It's a variation on Ardha Matsyendrasana, half Lord of the Fishes. So you settle through your sitting bones, you feel the support of your spine, and that feeling of being drawn up through the crown of your head to breathe in, turning, twisting towards the left as you begin to breathe out. So again, there's no rush. You can either hug your left knee with your right arm. Again, your left hand, your left arm is behind and to the floor for support, to help to support your spine. The more length in your spine, the more able your spine is then to rotate. Now this might be as far as you want to go or to explore further. So you take your right elbow across your left knee, but making sure left sitting bones stay settled. Level your shoulders, relaxing your shoulders, turning, gazing now towards the left. Breathe. Breathing if you can through your nostrils. I'm going to give you one more option. Now if you've done this before, you can bind, and without forcing, you thread your right arm underneath your left knee, and then you take your left hand behind, holding your fingers or the left wrist, if you can, still settling through your sitting bones, still lengthening through your spine, turning, twisting now to your left. Breathe. You might find it a little more awkward to breathe, so don't force your breath. Does it help to introduce a gentle lift to your pelvic floor, which helps to encourage your breath that little bit higher? After this next breath in, so you release whichever position your arms are in, and it's not gymnastics, you know, it's not acrobatics, so it doesn't matter if you do all the fancy binds. It's about your approach to your practice, which ultimately is your approach to yourself. Bending now your right knee to step your right foot across your left knee. And again, perfectly fine to keep your left leg extended and then to twist. Or, as we did to the other side, you bend your left knee, left heel, sitting towards the outer edge of your right hip. You settle through your seat, holding around the top knee. Feel the fluid support of your spine. Level your shoulders, relaxing your shoulders. Then after this next breath in, so turning, twisting now to the right as you begin to breathe out. Hugging your right knee with your left arm. Again, your right hand this time, your right arm is behind to help support your spine. If there's room, and if it's in your practice today, you take your left elbow across your right knee. Soften your shoulders, gazing towards or over your right shoulder. Breathe. That final option, that final bind, only if it feels right for you today. This time to thread your left arm under and to hold either the fingers or your right wrist with your left hand, lengthening through your spine and still finding that twist, that rotation. But remember, it's not just about the physical. How do you feel now as you make this shape? If you're binding, release first the bind, moving back to the centre, uncross, release your legs. Again, you give your legs a little shake, and then you want to move into an all fours position. So whichever way feels right for you, you find your way into the all fours. And before we move into another twist, just some simple movements. So hands forward from your shoulders, knees under your hips. Just make a few simple circles now with your hips, with your pelvis. It's a soothing, circling movement. You move as your body wants to move. And then exploring the circles in the opposite direction. So the twists we've been practicing so far, really, the twist, the rotation, focus towards the lumbar, the lower part of our spine, associating energetically with the lower energy centres, Mula Bandha, the Muladhara chakra. Mula Bandha, that gentle lift we use to help support the pelvic floor. Swadhisthana behind your pubic bone. And the area behind your navel, Manipura. City of 1,000 jewels is a translation. I always love that translation. When you bring your knees to the centre, we're still in the all fours. We're going to take the twist now to the upper thoracic part of the spine. So energetically, your heart space, your heart centre. So just see how it feels any different as you take the twist a little higher. Simply taking your right hand, your right arm, underneath your left arm. You can rest your right shoulder, the right side of your head to the mat. You can even press a little into your left hand just to find that lift through the left side of your chest, the left shoulder. Breathe. Again, notice where you feel your breath. Notice how you feel now as you make this shape. Then pressing into your left hand, release your right hand to the mat and the twist to the other side. Left hand, left arm underneath your right arm. And ever so delicately resting your left shoulder, the left side of your head down. If you press a little more into your right hand, just to encourage that lift, that opening now through the right side of your chest, right shoulder. Breathe. Pressing a little more into your right hand to release your left hand to the mat. Taking your knees a little further apart, bring your big toes towards each other. So not a twist now, but a squat. So you tuck your toes under, you draw your bottom back. And as you draw your bottom back, maybe that's as far as you want to go. We're going to move in a moment into a seated position. Or if your knees can lift, staying with your hand, your arms forward, allowing your tailbone now to sink back. It's always a good preparation to sit as you open a little more into your hips. Now hand your arms reaching forwards and then to sit, walk your hands back. So you maybe need to take your hands back to help bring your bottom down. Slide your legs away, giving your legs that little shake. And then as we did back at the start, find your comfortable seated position. Important not just to rush from the physicality of your practice back into your day, a moment or two just to assimilate the different elements of the practice. So palms facing uppermost, index fingers touching your thumbs, and that simple connection with yourself, that subtle inquiry as to the connection between your mind, your body, and your breath. Well, thank you for allowing me to share this practice with you. Again, like the video, subscribe, contribute if you want to help out with this channel. I thank you.